Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bonus. It's been a long time. I was recently given a copyright strike per YouTube channel. It's not subsequently allowed to load for 5 days in new videos. It has been a long deluge, and I am irrevocably back. You all were missing my headpiece. That's not what we came here to talk about. Serena Williams is a very rich person, a very well-known person, and she is famous for marrying, dating, mating interracially. Having a child with a man or another race. Now, that's not controversial. The controversial thing is, after she married this man, she also had her skin bleached. Now she looks like Michael Jackson. Now, does anyone out there have a problem with interracial dating? Of course. There's some people that wholeheartedly agree with it. Yes, that also is true. Some people in interracial relationships and some that are not. The fact remains, there are inherent differences with the races dating one another, and it must be discussed at length or in a short form. That is why I've decided to make this video herein. Now, there is like, when you date interracially, it's seen as a threat to respective races. But it's okay, because of love. But you've got to focus on the bad things that come with anything, like showering or an accident or getting a dangerous job. In order to see what's the bad with interracial dating, you must see the negatives. And you can't really see the threats because most people don't look at this. They just don't recognize it as something as what they would do. So it's not really something that's dangerous. See, in particular, when Black, African American, darkies, whatever, when they are crossing the line to date interracially, having sex interracially, and having children that's a mixed race, it's not a detriment to the race. It is a formally miscegenation, but it has to do with contextual comparisons, and it wants references of people having a common creed, which is humanity, certain values, Western ideals, but you must deal with numbers. The white Americans in the United States, 5-1, outnumber blacks, African Americans, native born. Can every conceivably white woman possibly meet up with every black man from a different continent? And can they possibly enter into relationships long term, in the short term, to even procreate create children? So they have to perform a primordial type of effort to find this individual. They're going to procreate with people that are in their vicinity. In order for that to happen, outbreeding would be the people that are around their area. The people are far away are not going to have those advantages to outbreed a certain race or certain race of people to where they are now Creoles and they're not naturally their skin color. the form of skin color, or the one that it started with, the one two individuals come together with different phenotypes come together to make a single phenotype, that will dissolve the both phenotypes, and therefore the imminence of that would have to come much later because those two races would mix into one. Makes no sense to me. So you have to find them. It's all about proximity. Uh, a situation where you would have friends, where you would have some people that have these very centrist beliefs that the races are betraying one another and causing black men and black women to not exist because they're mixing. So you have to give a little bit of weight to what the person is saying. You talk to them and you say, consider this. Imagine, okay, conceivably, all the people that are frequenting Wendy's or sleeping with all the people in Whole Foods. Imagine every 10th person that shops at Whole Food and every 15th person that eats at Wendy's every day would meet, date, have children, and create legacy. It's rare. And then if it is a comparison, a reference point, the social utility is not does not converge to sort of introducing this possibility. It's very rare. Less than 1% of these individuals are even being together. Look at my arm. Look at my arm. So these people that are dating outside of their races are very few and far between. And then it's very hard. Hard. So you have to be in that community or you have to go in and out of that community and to have a chance to actually converge and compete for those mates, to enjoy those fruits, and to actually subvert the genetic integrity of an individual because you have so much in common. It is difficult to find something in common. And it is even more difficult to find something in common with someone of an opposite race that has a different socioeconomic background, different education, and does not frequent the buildings that you frequent, does not eat the same food that you eat, does not think the type of cars you think are luxury are very good looking or luxury. This to me is a non-starter. Ultimately, it feels very good to finally be past the strike. Having the strike on the YouTube channel was very much a detriment to my channel, and it has caused me big of a burden. The burden is on my shoulders. Both my shoulders hurt, but now this this burden has been lifted a bit. Now back to interracial dating. If a man and a woman are different phenotypes, different races, they procreate to have children. Now they would be mixed race, right? And I'll bring this home. Now you're saying that the race of both will be diminished in the child. That representation will not be repeated until that child or that child's grandchildren's will replicate with another person with one of those phenotypes, and the phenotype can rear itself in the genes once again, the family line once again. Now, what about this? Once they have that child, what percentage of that child's phenotype is the mother what percentage of that child's phenotype is the father. Now, considering what side of the bell curve you fall on, the opinion of this, a genuine analysis would say you cannot tell what percentage the person has of one race or the other. Are they 1/12 of this race, or 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1/5, 1/15, 1/8, 1/18? It's not a really cookie cutter sort of analysis of accuracies and just what's going on. And there's just a lot of factors that determine growth rates, nutrition, and age of birth, age of death, the abortion rate, the inflation rate, natural disasters, protein availability, protein availability, natural resources, safety conditions, the neighborhood they will live in, the amount of sexual partners someone will have throughout life, or what the variance is between the sexual preferences of the people that are breeding with these individuals or dating. See, it does not go there to where all the interracialness begins or stops with the interracial dating, because those that would not mix would not even know the percentage of the phenotype that they would have inside themselves. So therefore, you cannot say that the people that do not interracially date and not interracial crossbreed would create their race replicating in genes through birth, or vice versa, the other person would have their genetic quality or abilities, attributes depleted because they are mixing. Because you don't know what you bloody are. I don't know what I bloody am either. Why do I talk like this? I don't know. Bomber clock. There is also the characteristic of a person. Just because a child is born does not mean he's going to have one child or two child or any children, or be homosexual and not have any children, or be cisgender fluid, non-binary, and have 5 children, or be transgender and adopt 7 children, or have an orphanage and have 70 children, or be straightest person in the world and have no children or one child, or have infertility issues and at the age of 70 have a child. There's a lot of variables here. So you cannot just focus one dimensionally on the eye test of a person that is very dark skinned is dating a person with very white skin, and they're going to create a certain phenotype of person to where one race or the other is going to be wiped out. Genetic viability will be corrupted because they are, as one would say, trading out their race. In saying something that is anti this race or that race, you are actually removing the agency of the person's race that you are advocating for, because you're not giving them the proper autonomy of their body, or the autonomy of the choice to sleep with, breed, or marry who they would possibly choose to be without influence of alcohol or drugs, or on the influence of religion, or in influence of severe exercise, or whatever their persuasion is. There's too many variables to factor in that a person is breeding out because they're dating someone of another race or marrying, having children with another race. There are no definites. There are no absolutes here. They are absolutes in time. It's finite amount of time. They're finite amount of resources, and these certain individuals would not have a great probability of meeting, let alone procreating. If they're procreating, there's still a lot of tetrogens in the environment that also affect the fetus growing, and also possibly keep the fetus from even surviving to actual live birth, or if they survive to live birth, lifespans increase or decrease, or maybe they start having children at the age of 82, or maybe they don't have any children, or they get a sexual reassignment surgery and are able to give birth. Possibly, I'm no doctor, and I do not have the right to say the person should be allowed to live or die or breed or not. But why would a subset of society have to put restraints on someone, sexual restraints? Then they have to be like you or them, had their genitals removed, or being told you have to breed with this person, or you must marry this person. Not in a forced marriage person, but just social pressure through familial traditions and expectations, through securement of land or property or money. But if everyone were to just focus on their own cabbage orchard, they wouldn't have to worry about who's sleeping with who and who is having children. Like it's not any one race's concern that they're doing this, because it's what people have decided to do, and they're not hurting anyone. Not hurting anyone. Two adults coming together have obviously made this choice together as one. They have acquiescence to their drives and chose to do this. A statement, any statement, one way or the other, about any issue is simply one's opposition. Is simply one's opposition. Is simply one's opposition to the ruling orders. Statement of what is okay and what's not. But you cannot buy a human being, nor can you impose the over taking away of human autonomy or self belief in how one wants to conduct their lives due to their circumstances and their use of time. It is very subjective, and this idea is very subjective. So one cannot have it both ways, be a hypocrite. You have to make a choice. A choice has to be made, and a choice has to live with it. If you were going to litigation and you were the plaintiff and there was a defendant, and the defendant has a lawyer, you're communicating with the lawyer, trying to win your case. Well, you know you don't have a case, so you just beg the lawyer until finally the lawyer says stop contacting them. And you know you have to go to court with a lawyer, and the defendant is probably going to trust you if they show up to court. All you can do is beg, right? Well, you have to deal with the consequences of what you've done. If you filed a lawsuit, someone, you're the one who filed it. So what you deal with, you have to deal with that. But let's say, let's go to the black argument, black white thing. So let's say the pro black argument is you shouldn't breed with different races of people. They're saying this out of their mouths, plain as water. But how can you divest from a community when trade is necessary? When you wear their weave, you eat their ice cream, when you buy their food from their grocery stores, when you wear their clothing, when you attempt to talk like them, when you go to their gyms, when you arch your eyebrows and cut your hair in the European way and say that they are evil and unhuman, well, they will look at us with distaste and think, why would we have a right to even exist or want to exist? We don't have a right to exist because of the color of our skin, because of educational expectations, because of our debt history, our social status, citizenship status, veteran status, such. Some class to have an exclusatory statement would be a sort of self-infliction of hatred. But the thing that you're against is the very thing you are supporting. So should have, would have, could have, would have. could have, would have, should have, should have. The argument is just ridiculous. And the variables, can it happen? And evolution is very slowly, it takes millions of years, a very long amount of time. It's hard. It's very hard. And it's just like a superstitious fear. And it's just two shades beyond xenophobia. But water seeks its own level, no matter what race you are. You have a similar or same situation going on. It's not going to go too far in either direction. And the numbers just don't add up. As before. Every five white people, one black person. Every seven white Americans in the United States, less than one black American in the United States. And that half of a black person is supposed to meet those five white people and breed with all of them, all three of them out of five of them. Improbable. Statistics. The statistics not going away. One way and over. All you must do is observe your surroundings, and you will see that mixing is just a meager threat to your existence, or not even a viable argument to make, in that you are going bred out by interracial dating or breeding. It's incomparable. This is something that pervades the mind of Black Americans. They even say something like this, even in passing. This is a joke. It is a joke to be preposterous because it cannot even start. When I was in school, I did not go to a white school. I was in a predominantly black neighborhood. However, I went to school with a lot of white children in a predominantly black neighborhood with a lot of white children. However, however, after school, the black kids were friends with the black kids, and the white kids were friends with the white kids. And for them to grow up together, to date through high school, to be high school sweethearts, go to college together, graduate, and get married, different races, would be a non starter. Think about how many people would move. Think about how people change their majors, how people have to go to another state to care for a sick parent, how someone gets offered a job, never comes back. People go to the military, join the service. You are seeing that there's no basis for this argument and it should not stand. I just think it's like an imaginary concept. It's a fake thing. The fear of an interracial planet, the fear of an interracial family, the apprehension of erasure through miscegenation is a fairy tale and a dot on the tip of a unicorn's head. And there's a lot of women, black women, that are choosing men that have criminal records, that have several baby mamas, that have adopted criminal history, that are unemployed and not working anything. And those are the most desirable in the neighborhood. As Thomas Sowell would say, the black redneck is the ideal black man in the United States. But the celebrity relationships are very rare, and it's not a lot of them, and it's just not a representation of the whole. And you think that every person of different races is going to switch out of their races and mate with everyone of different races, and it's a natural progression. And the certain groups are going to be encouraged in this behavior because they want to destroy the black race, black community. Can't happen. Can't happen. Welcome to Jack Dom's YouTube channel. Good. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.